Most modern buildings rely on a predictable formula: right angles, vertical walls, and a thick core of internal columns holding everything up. But in Dubai, this building follows a different logic. It has no corners, no straight lines, and absolutely zero traditional support pillars. Before we break down the engineering that made this possible, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives. This project began in 2015 on an empty lot near the Emirates Towers. The architects proposed a design where the solid ring represents the knowledge we possess today, while the empty center, the void, represents the undiscovered future. Turning that metaphor into a 77-meter-tall structure created an immediate physical crisis. The building spans over 30,000 square meters, but its most defining feature is that hollow center. Gravity usually requires a straight path down through concrete cores and pillars. By removing the center, engineers had to redirect thousands of tons of structural weight around the opening without any internal supports to catch the load. The solution was a diagrid, a structural network that does away with vertical columns. Instead, the building is held up by a continuous mesh of 2,400 diagonal intersecting steel beams that form the exterior skeleton. This wireframe illustrates the mechanics. The weight of the structure travels along these diagonal paths, splitting around the void and transferring down into concrete friction piles driven deep into the sand. There was a mathematical complication. Because the torus shape is asymmetrical, the curve is never constant. This means every single steel node in the mesh has a unique angle and load-bearing requirement. Traditional construction software simply couldn't handle these complex calculations. The engineering team had to borrow algorithms from the aviation industry to write bespoke scripts, parametrically determining the exact specifications for every individual piece of steel. The actual assembly required millimeter-level precision. To keep the geometry from shifting before the ring was completed, crews used temporary jack towers to support the sections as they were joined in midair. The final shape was also tested in wind tunnels to ensure desert gusts would slip through the void rather than pushing against the structure. Additionally, the interconnected diagrid provides the lateral stiffness necessary to absorb seismic energy. Successfully closing the steel diagrid proved the math worked, but this exposed skeleton still needed a weather-tight skin that could mirror its complex geometry. The facade is made of 1,024 unique composite panels, each milled by robots and clad in stainless steel. You can see how these panels had to be precisely aligned to lock on to the specific nodes of the diagrid underneath. The Arabic calligraphy on these panels serves a dual purpose. The letters are not just decorative, they are the building's windows, allowing natural light to enter the interior through complex, curved openings. These windows form quotes from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, designed by artist Matar bin Lahej, integrating the building's cultural message into its physical structure. This created a waterproofing challenge. Sealing 10,000 bespoke pieces of glass into a curved, jagged facade required aviation-grade sealants capable of withstanding extreme thermal expansion under the Dubai sun. This facade turns the entire building into an airtight, parametric machine where the calligraphy dictates the light, the heat, and the structural integrity of the outer shell. Because there are no central columns to house standard elevator shafts, engineers had to rethink vertical movement. To solve this, they developed futuristic glass capsule elevators that travel smoothly along the sweeping curves of the inner atrium walls. These capsules take visitors to the year 2071. The top floor features the OSS Hope, an exhibit that uses immersive technology to simulate life on a future space station. The museum also includes the Heal Institute, an ecosystem library housing 2,400 species, and the Al-Waha, a space designed for mental healing, where visitors disconnect from digital technology. The building's high-tech design is matched by its efficiency. Through passive cooling and off-site solar power, it achieved LEED Platinum status, demonstrating that complex geometry can still meet the highest sustainability standards. Since its opening on February 2022, the museum has welcomed over 2 million visitors and received multiple global awards for structural engineering. By successfully translating aviation algorithms into a 30,000 square meter ring, The project demonstrated that nonlinear, complex forms are no longer restricted to digital models. It stands as physical proof that a functional public building can exist without the traditional constraints of 90-degree architecture.